Hello, hello, YouTube friends and family. What's going on? Girl, 871, aka Ginger Snap. Y'all, hope y'all can hear me. Okay, hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all can hear me well. So I hope everything is going well with everybody. Hope everybody's had a great weekend. So far, so good. I've had a fair weekend. Been pretty good. No complaints. No major complaints. But anyway, I just want to come up here for a few minutes and just give my 2 cents on the latest episode of the Braxtons. Okay, this is episode 2 of their new show. Is I guess it's no longer called the Braxton Family Values. Probably due to some legal reasons and all that. So it's now just the Braxtons. So I did my first thoughts on episode 1, and I said I probably wasn't going to really recap it, and I still may not always be here. But on episodes that I feel like it's something to talk about, I'll pop in and give my couple of thoughts on it. So yeah, we get so we back with the show, and they're picking up and continuing, excuse me, from where they left off at episode 1, when they were talking about going through grief, having the grief counselor named Spirit show up, and they're talking about their grief and how everyone is coping and dealing with it. Um, and everyone is dealing with it in a different way because that's how grief works. And everybody does deal with things differently. And also, if you don't have a close knit family, um, you're not going to always grieve and console each other together. Everyone is just going to, go off into their own little corners and do on their own little corners of the world and do their own thing. And so one person might be really sitting there suffering, and the others are going on about their business. So I have seen this time and time again personally. So it doesn't shock me that it's going on with this particular family. Um, and so I'm not going to go necessarily scene by scene or go into the details of every little thing. Um, because it's not like a deep dive recap. It's just more giving my opinion and my thoughts on a couple of things that I saw. And the main issue we're still talking about is Traci passing and the grief that everyone is going through. So we're back, everybody's still on the sofa, on the couch. You got Mr. Braxton and little Kevin on the Zoom call, on the Zoom video, but the girls are on the couch and at Tony's house, and they're just not seeing eye to eye on things. Well, I won't say eye to eye, but because, like I said, grief is different for everybody, so I won't say eye to eye, but they're just not seem to be able to talk to each other. It's almost like they talk at each other instead of to each other. Um, and they just don't have that bond, anymore. Or at least that's not what we are seeing on camera. Trina is the one who's struggling the most, and I think they're all struggling in their own way. But that's what Trina's problem is, that she feels that everyone is just gone off, and she felt like she's going through this by herself. She says she doesn't like to sleep at night. She stays up all night long until the sun comes up the next morning. Um, she is drinking more, she's eating more, gaining weight. These are things she said. And and that's her way of coping and dealing with it. Um, and Spirit, the grief counselor, told her, said, "Look, you're going to need to, get some help for that. I'm going to give you some referrals, because you need to see, a professional. You probably need to go see like a psychiatrist and a licensed therapist, and not necessarily say to get on medication, but she could get on something to help her go to sleep, um, uh, even if she just take an edible, that'll help her go to sleep at night. But she definitely needs to see an ongoing therapist along with the grief counselor. She needs to see an ongoing therapist because the issues that they have is not just about Traci passing. These issues been going on since they since way back. These issues been going on probably since Tony blew up as a solo artist. So these are problems that have been going on for 20 plus years. So um and for we know, hashtag I don't know these people. This could have been going on since they was children, for all we know, because also the mom and the daddy are toxic and they haven't never dealt with their issues and problems. So they have some toxic stuff, that they didn't never resolve. And so it just has probably been going on forever and a day. It's probably been going on forever and a day. So they're not communicating, they're not talking. Um, or at least Tamar feels that Tawanda and her don't have a relationship and they're not talking. She says she talks to Trina every day, she talks to Tony every day, but they're not talking. And your mama Evelyn, she just she's just done with it. You know what I'm saying? She's just done with it. And she goes on to explain. And like I said, I'm just jumping all around, not in order of how everything went. I'm just kind of giving you a rundown, my opinions. Mama Evelyn, Miss E, she said, she said she was expressing how she lost a child. She said, I carried Traci, and I almost lost her a couple of times when she was a baby and so on and so forth. And so, she's grieving. She just like a lot of people, a lot of particularly black people, but I'm sure it happens with everybody. But I'm just speaking about our race. I mean, my race and my people, and that a lot of us, and I can include me in here too, that sometimes we just suck things up. We just say, "Hey, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good," and that's probably what Miss E is doing. And she's, and that's what like Tony's doing. Everybody's doing it except for Trina. Trina's the one who's actually crying and letting it out and letting her grief be, laying it on the table and letting everything be heard. But the others are just like their way of coping with it is to not, I guess, deal with it. I don't know. They didn't say those words, but it looks that way. But everybody's grieving process and is different, especially when you're not a close knit family. Okay, they try to portray as if they're close knit on television at times, but really, technically, they're not close knit family, and they might love each other because they're family members, but they don't like each other, and that's a big that plays a big part. And I know, I'm the youngest, like Tamar is. I have two older siblings. We're not close. We don't really communicate. Only when we have to, only when we need to, only when there's something going on that we have to communicate. So if God for we ain't gonna say God forbid, because at some point my parents will go off to heaven and go, it'll be that time. They both in their 80s. And when one of them go, everybody probably just go in their corners and grieve on their own and deal with and cope with on their own, because we're not in communication with each other now. We don't talk, hang out. I mean, to be honest with you, it's the same thing I'm saying about the Braxtons. Like you love each other, but you don't like each other. Like you just tolerate each other, and this is just my opinion. That's why I say it here, just my own thoughts and my opinions, and I'm gonna say allegedly. So somebody else might have their own opinions, but this is my opinions. Um, but Miss E, she just expressing this how I feel, and she expressing how she feels. Excuse me, how she feels, and being that this was her child, and and she was there, um, when when she passed. She was there. I think along with Trina, I think she was there as well. Um, I don't think Trina should have been the one to be there when Traci take her last breath. Trina is not, the strong one, or the one could hold it together. It probably should have been Tony or maybe even Tawanda. Um, the brother Michael, who we don't see that often, I like him because he don't get involved with this mess. He stays away. He probably talks to them all individually, but he don't get involved. You know what I'm saying? He stays away, and he only pops in and out on the show every now and then, on occasion, and I'm glad that we he doesn't get involved in all and being entangled in this mess, because this has been going on. This has nothing to actually do with Traci. This Traci is just like the cherry on top of this. On top of this, it's like it. This is a pent up, built up anger that they have for each other. So, and especially Tamar and Tawanda, they have had disdain for each other for a long time, and it really seemed more like Tawanda. Now I could say what I want about Tamar, because Tamar can be a handful. Tamar can be Tamar, and it's not easy probably to deal with her. Just for the few minutes we see her on TV, it's hard to deal with her. Imagine having to deal with her every day. It's probably a lot. But I really think in this case, Tawanda seemed like, and this has been going on, like I said, this has nothing to do with the Traci thing. She seemed like she has a almost like a hate for her sister, for Tamar. And it's been going on a long time. Like, as my sister, I love you, but I don't really like you. I don't rock with you. And be honest with you, I don't F with you. I mean, that she ain't saying that, but that's the vibe that and the aura and that's coming out of her. The attitude she has, the stank. It's always been stank. She's always had a stank sort of way about her. I never, as far as seeing on TV, I never cared for her like that. Like I said, hashtag I don't know these people. If I knew her in person, she might be a lovely woman. But just on what we see on TV, she gives off stank attitude. I haven't been a fan of Tawanda, and now Tamar could be something else. But I always think that Tawanda seemed like she might be. I don't know if she's jealous of Tamar or what. I'm not really sure what it is. But all I know, and then again, being that she's older than Tamar, she's probably been putting up with Tamar and her bullshit for so long. She now at the point where I just ain't dealing with her no more. And that could be it too. You know what I'm saying? In her defense, and to Wanda's defense, that could be it too. Probably just say I'm not dealing with her no more. Um, but yeah, it's like, like I said, just because you are born into a family doesn't make y'all family. People can believe what they want. People have their own feelings and their own views and all of that. And just go by what I feel and what I know based on my experiences. Just because you're born into a family does not make you family. It just means you related. So that's what it looks like with them. Like, I'm just related to these people, so I love you. And I have some love for you. That say it like that, because that's I understand how that feels. I have my own siblings and my own family members that I feel like that too. I have love for you, but I don't really rock with you. and they don't, and you might not rock with me. So I get that. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a fan of Tawanda like that. But just because she always seems like she got like a stink attitude. But however, Tamar is a handful, so I might have to, understand where she coming from about dealing with Tamar. So they started talking about Tracy, um, and how it all went down. They was at Tony the last time they were all together was Tony's birthday party. I guess that maybe that was during COVID time or something around that time. And they was had a little get together for Tony for her birthday. And she started saying how she couldn't swallow and her throat was hurting so bad and she was in pain. And Tawanda said, "Look, soon as you get back home, you need to go to the doctor." And and then Miss E talked about how that Tracy called her and told her what was going on and with her diagnosis, um and then that was that, and then from that point on, Tracy just it just thought it just hit her aggressively. Tracy was very close with Mr. Braxton. She's the one, her and Michael, they stayed here in Maryland. Um, and they pretty much have a close relationship with him. But the other girls sort of, they went off to LA and Atlanta and, you know, and, they didn't deal with Tracy like that. And, but, at the end, a lot of this stuff, a lot of this grieving is guilt on how they treated Tracy. So, and I'm glad at the end, regardless on how Miss Evelyn feels about Michael, Mr. Braxton, I'm glad that she put her feelings to the side because this is their child that they made together, regardless of what he might have did in the marriage and all that. That marriage been over with for so long. She needs to move on. Um, and then of course it's Tracy in her final days with her son. So, and this was just a flashback scene of Tracy talking to her mother, and Miss E was telling her that she was enough because Tracy was like, "I feel like I'm just not enough," and she said, "You are enough. You are enough," and told her that how she, they loved each other. So, Tracy definitely needed that from her mom, but she also really needed that from her sisters. And I don't feel that they gave her that. You know, they were they were not nice to Tracy. And I'm just keeping funky. And okay, people can feel how they feel. You can leave the messages in the comments and do what you need to do. But in my opinion, they were not cool with Tracy. Like I said, I have love for you, and they probably did love her in their own special way. But they I hope they don't think that we have amnesia or something, because you can go back, it's on film, and go back and watch how they treated Tracy the whole entire time. Um, and I figured, like, if you can treat her bad on camera for the nation to see worldwide, imagine what y'all do and how y'all treat this lady off camera. So I can relate to Tracy a lot, and she was definitely my favorite. But anyway, moving on from that, Trina is still just grieving hard. She expressing how she feel. Tamar says she already been to grief counseling. I don't know if she been there or not. It's hard to tell with Tamar. She's so up and down. Even to this day, she's still all over the place. And that ain't got nothing to do with Tracy. She just sometimes a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puff sometime, So it's hard to take her serious. Tony, saying her way of coping is just suck it all in and not deal with it. And that's a lot of families, a lot of people. I mean, like I said, I think probably include myself in that, where we just say, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm okay, I'm fine," and you just suck everything down. So because you got to be the backbone and be strong for everybody else, and you can't really grieve because you're so busy helping everybody else and being a caregiver for everybody else, and you cannot, you know, go through your own problems. So, and she also says she feels guilt because she's the one who's sick with lupus, and she should have been the one gone. And why God take Tracy? So she's, mad with God right now. I mean, I don't know. And then so, but I really did like the way Trina has been expressing herself. I'm glad she was able to let that out and cry and get it out. But she definitely needs to go to therapy. And it doesn't need to be on no camera. This is what she needs to do privately. So I'm hoping that she does listen to the grief counselor spirit and go see somebody. So hope she takes on that referral that spirit is going to give her so she can go see somebody. And then we got Mr. Braxton. He's on the Zoom, and then on the Zoom video, so is little Kevin. Kevin is trying to explain. Mr. Braxton is like, he just listening. He just trying to understand what's going on with his family, and I'm sure he grieving in his own way because he is the father of this child, and him and Mr. Braxton and Tracy were very close, much closer than the other members of the family. And uh, Kevin, I feel very bad for him. I understand. I I have only one child as well, an adult son, and I I can imagine probably what he might go through when I'm no longer here anymore. It's probably going to be extremely heavy on him. And I mean, this whole topic is just deep. It really is deep. Um, because in Kevin's eyes, like his mother was everything, and he's grieving about the mother, about his mother. The rest of them girls, Tony and all them, they've been having beef since way back. Theirs is deeper than just Tracy. Um, theirs is really done. Their fight that they have with each other really has nothing to do with Tracy. It's them. They just, like I said, you can have love for each other, but that don't mean you like each other. And like I said, just because you related to people and born into a family, don't make you family. Sometimes outsiders are more family members than your so-called blood related people. I know for a fact. I know what I'm talking about. Um, and so, and oh, and then I wanted to mention at one point, it looked like the police came to little Kevin's door to, and he walked away from the camera for a moment, and it sounded like it was the police saying he had a warrant, and he had either for his arrest or had to turn himself in. So we still don't really know what is going on, but apparently he did turn himself into to the police, and and I guess for some warrant that he had. Tawanda feels that, and I think I know where she going with that. She just didn't want to say the lady's name, but she feels that it was somebody who's close, who knows that he was going to be on the Zoom at that particular time, and have the police show at his house at that particular time. So she didn't say it, but I'm gonna say it. She probably thought it was his wife. She probably thought it was his wife because they go. He said that she served him with papers. Right at the time, he's still dealing with the anniversary of his mom's death, and so it's a lot on Kevin. I don't worry about those ladies because they all fine. I don't worry about the girls; they all fine. Outside of Trina, I worry about Trina and her grief. The rest of them, they'll be fine. They just like bickering back and forth. They don't like each other, so that's what that's about. But Kevin, I feel really bad for him. Um, his father is probably grieving. I know Actually, I see the father on social media. He seemed like he's grieving hard. He doesn't even look well. He looks like he's sick to me, but I don't think he's sick. I think he's just depleted. Big Kevin. I think he's depleted, and he so every time I see him, he's looks very depressed, and so he probably doesn't want to burden his father, um, and and the father probably don't want to burden him. It's just how we are. Just black families, we just some of I almost say everybody, of course. I don't just not and this is not for everybody, but it's a lot of us who just I'm gonna go over here in my corner and I'm gonna deal with my grief by myself, or I'm gonna deal with my problems by myself, or whatever, because I don't want to bother or burden somebody else. And especially if you don't have a close relationship with certain members of the family, you wouldn't go to them about no grieving or problems in the first place. Um, so I guess we'll find out more about what the warrant is about. But I think I might agree with Tawanda. Then Tawanda didn't say this. It's just Ginger Snap saying this. Tawanda said she believed it was somebody that he who knew who was gonna be on the Zoom at the right time and gonna be home at that time, and was somebody who ratted on him. I believe she's alluding to the wife, but she didn't say it. I did. So we shall see what happened there. Um, and it's just more going back and forth. Tamar and Tawanda just had a big back and forth. In the past years, it used to get very heated. They didn't ever go to blows with each other, but it was like, you know, heated. With it was the FUs going flying around and the rolling of the eyes and the smacking of the lips and all that kind of stuff. It used to get very heated. Even Tamar had used to get into a heavy with Traci. So that's why I'm saying I think a lot of this is a lot of guilt because they didn't do always treat Traci right. I saw it. I saw it, and everybody saw it. So, and I'm not trying to just keep throwing that in their face, but they need to. I hope they made amends with her while she was still here to hear it. Even if it was on her deathbed, I hope they made amends with her. So but I think that's what a lot of it is. Tony has the guilt. All of them have the guilt. You know, and so they, what's her name? Tamar said she just got her boundaries, and Tamar and Tawanda, like I said, it they may have love for each other, but they don't like each other. And I almost wish they would just say that. Look, I don't deal with you. I don't rock with you. Leave me alone. You know, I can respect that, but instead of playing games back and forth, but hopefully they can fix it. Hopefully they can mend it. I just think they need some time apart. Just stop trying to call each other. Stop trying to be around each other. Just give them each other some breathing space and just stay apart from each other for a while until everybody cool down. Now some people say that's not the right thing to do. Some people say no, we gotta talk it out, hash it out. But when I'm angry, I can't talk and hash nothing out. I need you to stay the f away from me. And I don't care if they siblings or not. Okay, I feel that same way. I feel that way more stronger about the sibling than I probably do anybody else. Just like well, I feel like about anybody, but just stay away from me because if I say what I really feel, we're gonna have it out. So it's best to stay away from me, or let me stay away from you, however you want to word it, until we can calm down and then have an adult conversation. Right now, they're not in that space. They haven't been in, Tawanda and Tamar haven't been in a good space with each other in a very long time. In a very long time. So, and Miss Eve was just like, she can't take this no more. I thought the lady was going to kill over and have a stroke or a heart attack right there. Because the way she was screaming, and look, she said, y'all act like y'all can't stand each other. No, they can't stand each other. No, they cannot. They don't like each. Well, um, I feel, and a lot of time I understand where Tamar coming from. It's like them versus me. Um, and sometimes you get ganged up on. I know the feeling on that. So anyway, um, one thing family dynamic is rough. it's rough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a family dynamic is rough. I'm gonna just sort of leave it at that because I don't want to go too deep into it. But yeah, I mean, like I just stick with. I'm gonna stick with that. I've been saying this for these 20 years, and I'm gonna continue to keep saying it. Just because you born into a family of people and even lived in the house with them and grew up with them or whatever, it doesn't necessarily make you family. It just means you related to people. You were forced to be with each other when you were children. You ain't had no choice. But once you become an adult, you have choices. At least I do. And I'm not gonna be around nobody. I don't give a darn if you're a sibling or not. If you're not treating me right, if you're disrespecting me or treating me any kind of way to make me feel away, you going on about your business. I go on about mine. We ain't gonna fist fight or nothing. We just going. But I'm just not gonna bother with you. And I deal with you when I see you. I see you when I see you. I deal with you when I deal with you. You know. And if I don't see you, then oh well, I don't see you. You know. I mean, you know. And then maybe I feel the way I feel because it's no secret that I don't have a close relationship with my sisters. Um, and it's deeper than just us not getting along. It's a deep, deep family stuff. So anyway, so that's the reason why I can understand what this thing is with the Braxtons because this is not just about Traci passing. Traci passing passed away just brought more tension to the family. They've been not talking. They've been not close with each other. It wasn't like all of a sudden they was a close family and then things just fall apart. No, because grief don't bring you close together. It actually pulls you apart. So they always had issues and problems with each other. It's been going on. Um, you know, so anyway, that's my opinion on the second episode of the Braxtons. If I if I'll keep looking at episodes as they drop them, and if it's something worthy to talk about, I'll come back. If not, then I won't talk about it no more. So this, like I said, it's just my quick little opinion and my thoughts and how I feel. So, um, and everybody's entitled to their own opinions on things, and because we're all adults, leave me some comments and let me know what y'all feel about the Braxtons, Traci passing, family members, relationships with family. I mean, let's have that conversation. So leave me some comments and let me know. But make sure that y'all don't forget now. Please like the video, send me comments, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Just do all the things, that just do all the things for me. I sure appreciate y'all. Always do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye bye.